Have you ever wondered if something labeled healthy could actually be quietly harming your heart? Are you eating foods that seem good for you, only to have them slowly slow down your metabolism, day after day? And here's the most important question. Are you absolutely sure that the vegetables sitting in your fridge today won't become a burden on your heart tomorrow? I'm not asking these questions to scare you. I'm asking them so you can start looking inward with honesty and gentleness at how your body is really doing at this stage of life. I am a cardiologist who's walked alongside thousands of patients over 60 here in the US. I've seen one thing happen over and over again. People truly believe they're eating healthy. They cut out fried foods, avoid sugar, and fill their plates with vegetables. But here's the hard truth. Some of those very vegetables, if eaten the wrong way, can quietly harm your heart. Certain vegetables that seem harmless may actually raise your blood pressure. Some interfere with life-saving medications. Others, though they look fresh and clean, may carry bacteria that your immune system at this age can no longer fight off as effectively. When I explain this to patients, their first reaction is usually, "Are you serious, doctor? We're talking about vegetables?" Yes, vegetables. But no, I'm not saying you should stop eating them. What I'm saying is this. You need to eat them the right way. You need to know which ones to avoid, which ones to replace, and how to prepare them so they don't quietly stress your heart. I made this video with complete sincerity, drawing from years of experience in cardiology, because I want you, someone in the most meaningful, reflective stage of life, to live strong, live well, and live peacefully. Here's the good news. All of these risks, they're preventable. As long as you understand what you're putting into your body day by day, meal by meal. And chances are, the very first vegetable I'm about to talk about, it might be sitting in your fridge right now. So don't skip what comes next. I'll walk you through each one, explain the science behind the risks, and give you simple, safer alternatives that are easy to find. Before we dive in, if this kind of information feels helpful to you, please take a moment to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That small action helps me keep creating videos for you, not fear-based, not preachy, but real, honest guidance from someone who's seen far too many "if only I had known" moments in the clinic. And if you're still watching right now, drop a 1 in the comments so I know you're with me. If you feel this video could be improved, leave a 0. I truly welcome your feedback. Now, let's begin with the first vegetable. One that seems innocent enough, but may quietly be your heart's silent enemy. The first vegetable I want to talk about today is spinach. I know, just hearing that name, many people might think, wait a minute, isn't spinach a superfood? And yes, in many cases, it absolutely is. It's rich in antioxidants, fiber, vitamins, and in most nutrition articles, spinach is always at the top of the list. But as I often remind my patients, even healthy things must be understood properly and used wisely. As a cardiologist, I've seen plenty of patients walk into my office feeling proud they've cut out red meat. They drink green smoothies every morning, and they fill their plates with vegetables. And yet, their test results show that their heart medications aren't working the way they should. Why? Because they've been eating spinach in large, uncontrolled amounts without realizing that this leafy green is extremely high in vitamin K. Now, vitamin K is essential, but it can also be risky, especially if you're on blood thinners like warfarin. Think of blood thinners as a protective fence. They keep your blood from clotting when it shouldn't. But if you suddenly flood your system with too much vitamin K from spinach, that fence weakens. Your blood begins to thicken again quietly, slowly, while you believe everything is fine. And when your body can no longer properly regulate clot formation, the consequences can be serious. Strokes, heart attacks, events that arrive without warning. I've seen more than one case where a patient landed in the ER with a stroke, and the cause traced back to their daily spinach smoothie, a habit they thought was making them healthier. But the issue isn't the spinach itself. The real problem is imbalancea, sudden change in diet, made without ever informing their doctor. For older adults, consistency in nutrition, especially when medication is involved, isn't just helpful. It's critical. So if you love spinach, there's no need to cut it out completely. What matters is how you eat it intentionally, in moderation, and with full transparency. Make sure your doctor knows what's on your plate. Because in medicine, even a simple meal can shift the course of your treatment, for better or for worse. And perhaps the most surprising truth is this: sometimes, a green salad if done wrong can be more dangerous than a plate of French fries. Thank you for still being here, because after spinach, we need to talk about another silent enemy. It's not some exotic food or obscure ingredient. It's something far more familiar, something that quietly sits in the corner of your plate at almost every meal. Pickled cucumbers, or what most people call simply pickles. Many think a few tangy, crunchy pickle slices, whether paired with a sandwich or some plain rice, are harmless. But here's the truth. Your heart may be caught in a salt trap, and over time, that trap tightens. As a doctor who has worked with older adults for decades, I've seen this again and again. People try their best to live healthy, they cut out fried foods, avoid sugar, even exercise every morning, and yet their blood pressure stays high, their hearts still struggle, and their medications don't seem to work as expected. And when we look closer, the real culprit turns out to be those harmless pickles on the dinner table. What many don't realize is that pickles soaked in brine aren't just a side dish, they're sodium bombs. Just one small serving can contain over 1,000 milligrams of sodium. That's more than 2/3 of the daily sodium limit recommended for adults over 60. And the truth is, most people don't stop at just one serving. Some have been eating pickles since childhood out of habit, without even thinking, every single day. But sodium isn't just a salty flavor. Medically, it increases blood volume, which means your heart has to work harder to pump blood throughout the body. That added pressure stiffens your arteries, and over time, it leads to strokes, heart failure, or sudden chest pain you never saw coming. The scariest part? Salt doesn't come with a warning. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't make you dizzy. It simply builds up quietly until one day, everything breaks. And at your age, your kidneys don't flush out salt as well as they used to. Your blood vessels are more fragile, too. That means the damage shows up faster and hits harder. I once treated a patient named Margaret. 68 years old, no alcohol, no smoking, very healthy habits, except one. She loved pickles, ever since she was a child. Every blood pressure check came back too high. It wasn't until she cut out pickles for just 2 months that her numbers finally started to improve. We were both surprised and relieved. That's why even a small change like using herbs, lemon juice, or apple cider vinegar instead of salt can lighten the burden on your heart in a big way. Reading food labels, cooking with less sodium at home, these are quiet but powerful ways to protect your heart every day. But salt isn't the only thing you need to be mindful of in your kitchen. There's another vegetable one that looks innocent, even friendly, but has been shown to cause low-grade inflammation in the body. And over time, that inflammation can gradually raise your blood pressure and silently weaken your heart. We'll talk about that vegetable. Thank you for staying with me, because right after the salty trap of a few pickled cucumbers, we now need to talk about another bright red trigger. Something you might be using every day, without even realizing it. I'm talking about red chili peppers. Small, fiery, seemingly harmless red chilies often feel like just a bit of spice added to the plate. But over time, they could be quietly wearing down your heart. I completely understand For many older adults, food isn't just about nutrition. It's about memories. A hint of heat on the tongue. A steaming bowl of soup. A stir-fry with just the right kick that's not just flavor, it's nostalgia. Comfort. The taste of home. Spice isn't just in the mouth, it's in the soul. But after the age of 60, your body starts asking for something different, something gentler. The heart isn't as strong as it once was. Blood vessels lose their elasticity. And in that quiet shift, a single spoonful of chili, though it may look harmless, can ignite reactions deep within your chest. I've seen many older patients come into my clinic complaining of heart palpitations, tightness in the chest, or an irregular heartbeat shortly after eating spicy food. And what surprises them most is realizing that the culprit might be the chilies they've eaten for decades without issue. But from a medical standpoint, this makes perfect sense. When you eat red chili, especially strong, concentrated types, your body responds. Adrenaline spikes. Your heart beats faster. Blood vessels tighten. For a younger person, that's usually fine. But for someone over 60, especially those with heart conditions, high blood pressure, or a history of stroke, that reaction can be dangerous. The constriction of blood vessels can cause a sudden spike in blood pressure. In some cases, just one spicy meal can trigger abnormal heart rhythms or even lead to a heart attack. It's not just about the heat, it's about how your entire system reacts to it. Over time, frequent chili consumption can also lead to low-grade chronic inflammation in the blood vessels, damaging the very lifelines your heart depends on every single day. I'm not here to tell you to give up flavor. I love emotionally rich meals too. But there are gentler, heart-friendly ways to bring life to your dishes. Fresh herbs, a bit of garlic or ginger, or even the bright notes of citrus like lemon or orange can add depth and satisfaction without putting extra strain on your heart. And I'll end with this. The joy of a good meal should come from how it makes you feel, not from what your heart is secretly giving up to enjoy it. We've already talked about how the body can react unexpectedly to the heat of red chili, an eating habit that seems harmless at first. And now, we're moving on to another familiar example. An ingredient many people swear by. Often praised as a natural remedy, but one that can quietly turn into a double-edged sword for your heart. I'm talking about raw garlic. After nearly 3 decades in the medical field, I fully understand why so many older adults believe in garlic's healing powers. Both traditional and modern medicine have highlighted its many benefits. Lowering cholesterol, supporting blood pressure, even thinning the blood. On paper, it sounds amazing. And yes, in some cases, garlic truly helps. But what happens when that belief gets pushed too far? I've seen patients swallow raw garlic like medicine, one clove a day. Sometimes even 2. They thought they were doing something good for their bodies. What they didn't realize is that raw garlic is a very potent natural blood thinner. If you're already taking medications like warfarin, aspirin, or any anticoagulant, consuming too much raw garlic can double the effect of the drug, and that's when things can spiral out of control. I've witnessed cases of internal bleeding where the patient had no idea they were even bleeding. Some came in with persistent nosebleeds, black stools, strange bruises that appeared out of nowhere, all because they believed they were eating healthy. But garlic's impact doesn't stop at blood thinning. In high amounts, below 4 of the second, raw garlic can also cause your blood pressure to drop suddenly. And if you're already on medication for high blood pressure, that combination can leave you lightheaded, dizzy, drained of energy, and, in some cases, even fainting at home. It may sound like a minor accident, but for a weakened heart, even a few seconds of reduced blood flow can leave lasting damage. What always weighs on me is the irony behind this habit. You're doing everything right. You've cut out fried food. You stay active. You care deeply about your health. But then, unknowingly, you put too much faith in a natural remedy, forgetting that even nature has its limits. After 60, the body doesn't respond the way it did at 30. Everything you eat, everything you drink, even the things you once trusted as healthy, now need to be reconsidered with greater care and deeper understanding. And now, I want you to stay just as alert, because the next food we're about to talk about is even more delicate, even smaller in size, yet it carries very real risks for older adults. I'm talking about raw sprouts. You see, in the eyes of many health-conscious eaters, sprouts like alfalfa, mung bean, or soybean are often seen as superfoods. They look fresh, vibrant, crisp, like they're bursting with pure, natural energy. Just a sprinkle on your salad, tucked into a sandwich, or added to your breakfast, and it sounds like the perfect addition to a clean, green lifestyle. But after years of caring for older patients, I've seen another side of the story. Things that look pure and harmless aren't always safe, especially when your immune system isn't what it used to be. Did you know that sprouts are grown in warm, moist conditions? And unfortunately, that's also the ideal environment for bacteria to thrive. Harmful bacteria like E. coli, Salmonella, and Listeria can easily hide within those delicate strands, completely invisible to the naked eye. For younger people, a bout of food poisoning might just mean a few uncomfortable days. But once you're over 60, a weakened immune system makes your body slower to respond and less equipped to fight back. What starts as a mild stomachache could quickly become a serious infection, sepsis, severe dehydration, or even endocarditis, a dangerous infection of the inner lining of the heart that's notoriously difficult to treat. I still remember a patient named Elaine, 71 years old, very careful about what she ate. She even grew her own alfalfa sprouts at home. One day, she was rushed to the hospital with a severe arrhythmia. We discovered she had a gastrointestinal infection, and the source? A lunchtime salad with a handful of raw sprouts that seemed perfectly innocent. No matter how strong your heart may be, it can't heal when your body is busy fighting off bacteria. And by the time the symptoms become obvious, it's often too late for a simple solution. As you get older, your food choices need to be more thoughtful. Clean doesn't always mean raw. Green doesn't always mean safe. Fresh foods are only truly healthy when your body is able to handle them. So, if you genuinely enjoy the cool, crisp texture of sprouts, consider lightly cooking them, stir-frying, or steaming for just a moment. It won't destroy the nutrients, but it will eliminate most of the harmful bacteria. And always remember, at this age, eating isn't just a routine, it's a daily act of love and protection for yourself. We just talked about tiny, seemingly pure sprouts that can actually harm your body if not prepared properly. And now, I want to draw your attention to a very familiar vegetable, one that shows up often in Vietnamese meals, in Asian American households, and in many kitchens across the U.S. It's a leafy green that seems harmless, but, if you're not careful, it can interact dangerously with the heart medications you take every day. I'm talking about kale. Yes, Kaleeth, deep green vegetable, once praised as the queen of greens, popular in salads, smoothies, and juices, can actually pose a serious risk to heart health after age 60 if it's eaten the wrong way or in excessive amounts. I understand this might surprise you. Kale is rich in antioxidants, fiber, vitamin C, and especially vitamin K. From a nutritional perspective, it's a valuable food. But that same vitamin, just like we discussed earlier with spinach, can become a major issue for those taking blood thinners such as warfarin, Eliquis, or aspirin. I once treated a patient, Mr. Gary, age 67, who had undergone a coronary stent procedure. He was very health conscious, ate clean, exercised regularly, and especially loved his daily kale juice every morning. But after just 3 months, His test results showed that his anticoagulant medication wasn't working as it should. His blood pressure was erratic. Eventually, we traced the cause to one thing: an unusually high intake of vitamin K from all that kale. You see, vitamin K itself isn't Badit's essential for proper blood clotting. But if you consume too much while on medication designed to keep your blood thin and reduce stroke risk, those two processes begin to clash. The result? The medication loses its effect, and your risk of developing dangerous blood clots goes up. The scariest part is that this happens silently, no pain, no fever. Only when a heart attack or stroke strikes out of nowhere do we realize we didn't fully understand how our own body works. I'm not saying you should eliminate kale from your diet. But if you're being treated for heart issues, and especially if you're taking blood thinner, seek kale in moderation, with consistency, and make sure to discuss any dietary changes with your doctor first. Because at this stage of life, good health isn't just about eating more greens. It's about eating the right greens, in the right amount, at the right time. And most importantly, it's about listening to your own body, not someone else's. We've just walked through what might seem like a simple journey, just a few familiar vegetables from your daily meals. But behind those everyday choices lies a far more complex world where nutrition, medication, and the natural changes of the body after 60 all intersect. I share these things with you, not to make you anxious or fearful of your food, but to help you become the one person who truly understands and cares for your own body. Because at this stage of life, staying healthy isn't just about taking your pills on time or going to regular checkups. It's about the small, quiet decisions you make every day: the vegetables on your plate, the water you drink, the habits you choose to keep. Each of these is a way of telling your heart, I still want you strong. I still need you with me for many more years. If you found today's video helpful, don't forget to tap like, so I know you're here watching quietly, but valuing each piece of advice. And if you'd like more health guidance tailored to your age from a medical perspective, but always warm and down-to-earth, hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell. We'll meet again soon, not to teach each other, but to gently remind one another that health is a journey, not a destination. I'll see you in the next video. We're together. We'll keep listening to our bodies and learning how to live each day with a little more kindness toward ourselves.